My name is Beth, and I have multiple sclerosis. I have contemplated the making of this video for a few weeks and felt strongly that it is not my story that needs to be told, that I should share the story of one of my friends. One of my friends. Yes, one. We have two close friends that have been diagnosed with this disease and know personally two others within our immediate neighborhood. The story that I would like to share is that of Christiana. Christiana was 14 years old when she was diagnosed. I am going to first share her story in her own words and then share with you some of her timeline of treatments that she has had to endure in her young life. Christiana's story. It all started with mild symptoms that I thought would just go away on their own. The symptoms varied, but the most common of these symptoms was tingling on one side of my body. As time went on, the symptoms would go away, but then they would come back. For the most part, I wasn't too worried. What started the worrying happened in the evening of May 28, 2010. During that night, my face twisted as if I had had a stroke. My mom took me to the emergency room. Now I am terrified. There are all kinds of thoughts running through my head. What's wrong with me? Am I going to die? Am I going to live? When we arrived at the emergency room, we waited 8 hours. They did a CAT scan and the doctors came in to give me the results. The doctors at that time told me all that I needed to do was stop worrying, eat right, and exercise. So I'm thinking, okay, fair enough, I can do that. I then went home to get some sleep. When I woke up, it was 10 o'clock. The doctors had called and said to bring me back because they had found something. When I went back to the hospital, they performed an MRI and admitted me into the hospital. They ran a bunch of other tests on me as well. As I said, they performed the head MRI, a spine MRI, a spinal tap, and an in and out cath. After I had been in the hospital for a few days, my test results came in. On June 1st, 2010, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I was 14 years old. I remember beginning to cry and just thinking, God, why me? For the first months, I would cry myself to sleep at least twice a week because I didn't think that I was doing anything right. I even thought that I had done something wrong. I am now 16 and will be 17 on February 5th. I have not let MS get the best of me. Although it has been a long journey from on and off of steroids for 2 years to just being in and out of the hospital for a year and a half. On top of all of this, I was in the middle of a transition from middle to high school, and that was challenging in and of itself. At this time, I am taking a Cytoxin treatment every 6 weeks, and it seems to be helping a lot. I thank God every day for what He has done for me and what He is going to do in the future. Sincerely, Christiana. To clarify some of Christiana's treatments, I asked her mother Victoria some questions so that you could understand more of the details of what this brave young woman has endured over the last 2 years. From Victoria. Every time she had a relapse and was hospitalized, she was given intravenous Solumedrol, which is a high dose of steroids. She would then be sent home with a tapered prescription of prednisone, another steroid. Because of the steroids she was given to reduce swelling and help to shorten the length of the relapse so that less lesions would form on the brain, she gained a lot of weight, a very normal but hard side effect of being on steroids. Not the easiest thing for a young woman in high school on top of all else that she has endured. Because of the weight gain, her blood sugar would then have to be monitored. Sometimes she was given insulin to offset the steroids. In 2 years, Christiana has been hospitalized 9 times. In March 2011, Christiana went through a type of transfusion, hoping to slow down her MS. It didn't. Through more hospitalizations she went. In late October 2011, because she was experiencing more and more lesions on her brain, and the therapies she was being administered were not working as well as hoped, a portacath was inserted into Christiana. During that time, Christiana had her first chemotherapy treatment to try to arrest and slow the progression of her MS. They began with the treatments every 6 weeks, but during the chemo treatments, another lesion was discovered on her spine, so her chemotherapy treatments were increased to every 4 weeks. From December 2001 through January 2002, Christiana had to be homeschooled. She continued to have chemotherapy treatments every 4 weeks for the first year and has now been moved back to every 6 weeks. During the first 3 months, Christiana also endured having to take an Avonex weekly shot. Avonex is an MS medication developed to slow MS and to hopefully lessen the amount of relapses which can cause new lesions. I can testify that though we are grateful for Avonex shots are not fun at all. You run a fever for a day or two after the shot and feel during those 2 days like you have the flu. It can also be hard on your heart, liver, and kidneys, so you have to monitor yourself very carefully. Christiana's great news is that her body is responding now to these treatments and her MS has slowed. Another positive side to Christiana's story, she is incredible. She has a positive attitude and has an incredible support system through her parents, sister, and extended family. She has good friends. A quote from Christiana's mother, Victoria, "Anyone with a child that has a disease will tell you that during the downtime and difficult places, your children inspire and encourage you. Never underestimate the strength of your children." Christiana has taught us much about enduring power. On June 3rd, 2010, one morning while sitting in the hospital outside of her room, the scripture came to my mind. In Jeremiah it reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And that is what we are holding on to. Her future will be prosperous no matter what the journey holds, because we feel God is holding her. Christiana's family knows that through her experience they can touch the lives of others, and they have. Through Christiana's experience, they have come to know other children, some of whom are younger than Christiana and are wheelchair bound. Christiana wants to be a lawyer. She is on a mock trial team at her high school. Competitions begin Monday, February 11th. The competitions are based upon a real court case. They will be in a real courtroom with a real lawyer as a judge, going against another high school. She is one of the prosecuting lawyers. Go, Christiana. We could all learn a few things from her. Do I have MS? Is it dreadful sometimes? Has it changed my life and the lives of those in my family? Do I count my blessings? Yes, 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 and yes. When I was diagnosed with MS in June of 2012, that very same month, one of my very best friends was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Julie died 3 months later. She left behind her husband, young daughter, and extended family. She was 47 years old. I learned so much from the incredible person she was as she faced that disease every day. I have days when I don't see so well out of my right eye. Days where I have planned something or want to go somewhere, and I can't. I have days of incredible pain, days where it feels like bugs are repeatedly biting me all over my body. Days when I feel like I am dragging my right leg along with me wherever I go, and days when just about all I can do is sleep or rest. Julie's example, the example of Christiana and her family, the loving support of and love for my amazing husband and his family, my children, my brother, and my extended family. The class I teach to teens at 5:50 a.m. every weekday morning, and my faith keep me going. That faith has given me a mostly positive outlook on life, no matter what comes along. The thing we all need to remember is, not all that suffer from this disease have such a great support system. They don't know where to find hope or how to be positive. This disease can be very scary. You feel your future become unsure. That is where all of you come in. Through your biking for MS and raising the money that contributes to the research of causes, treatments, and hopefully one day cures for this disease, hope can be given to the hopeless, and an evidence of caring can be given to those that need that care. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. For your time, effort, and exhaustion as you embark upon your fundraising and eventual biking event this summer. You may never meet directly those whose lives you impact, but coming from one who has this disease and knows also the hours it takes to volunteer and put forth efforts to try to give hope to the hopeless, the contribution of your time and efforts will swell your heart to overflowing. Use your gift and ability to cycle to encourage and better the lives of those that wish that they could. Thank you again. I pray for your success in this event and for the happiness and health and for happiness and health in your lives. I will close with a quote from Martin Luther King. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. Thank you.